Howdy folks, Big Anklevich here, and it is time for another week. Let's head straight into it and see how things are going here on the final boss mode. Okay, it is Sunday and my saga with my scale continues. I got up this morning and I stepped on it and it gave me a weight. But it didn't go to my phone for some reason. It was flashing and the little thing was like spinning around like it was going to record it, and then it just didn't. And then the old weight came back on. And I went, oh, what the heck? And so I stepped back on it, and then it said, oh, impedance was not achieved. It still gave me the weight, but it said that it couldn't get, the little electric shock through me to test my body fat percentage and all that stuff. And I was like, I stepped on it back again, and yes, it gave me the error. It was not working. And so what I did, since I saw the weight, was I made it. I just made my own Photoshop of, I just got in here and wrote the number in. So 203.4 is what I weighed this morning. Stupid, frustrating, and annoying. And worst of all is later in the day, my wife got up and she stepped on it, and the scale didn't show her anything at all. It was just totally dead. And she's like, oh, is it out of batteries or something? And I was like, shouldn't be. It was lighting up. It must be on fritzing out even worse. And she's like, well, let's change the batteries and see. Change the batteries, put it back down, and it worked perfectly. So it was just the battery was low. The battery was low, but not low enough to not, work. It just worked poorly. And all this week I've been thinking that the thing was broken. It just needed a battery change. So annoying. It's funny because the exact same thing happened with my wife's car. Her car wouldn't start, and it was clicking, and all the lights and all the bells and stuff came on. So I thought, oh, the battery's not the problem. It was the battery. I had a tow truck coming to pick us up. He came over and he's like, oh, it sounds like you got a dead battery. And he plugged his little battery thing into it, and it started right up. Two things in the same week, and I felt so dumb in both cases. I know that that's probably the problem, and yet I didn't try it. I didn't even try it. Anyways, I looked on my weather app after I weighed myself and saw the temperature outside, and it was 29 degrees. That's below freezing. We don't get that in Houston, and I didn't want to go out and spend 2 hours hiking around down the street, bundled up, when I could just wait until later and do it in the sunlight. So I just stayed in for the morning. Instead, I went and I finished up my fast. I made it to 42 hours, and I had myself a pound of ground beef, and it was pretty yummy. It always is when you're finishing up a fast. That's always tasty stuff. Later on in the day, I had myself a steak. That's 2 steaks that I had. Now that I was supposed to be only ground beef, but I figure steak is fine. That's beef, and it's probably okay. And it was a good steak, and it's been out in the freezer, and I noticed that the bag that I was keeping it in had opened. So the freezer was open, and it was just exposed to the air, and I thought, oh shoot, I need to get these cooked and eaten before it gets any worse. They're good, expensive ribeye steaks, so I just cooked it up and I ate it, and it was super tasty, so it was worth doing. So after that, it was time for my walk. I needed to do my walk still on the day, and I thought, you know what? The Texans playoff game is about to start. I could go and just watch the game while I walked at the gym. And so that's what I did. I went in the car, went to the gym, and I just walked on the treadmill the whole time. I only watched through the first half. I couldn't take it anymore. C.J. Stroud's 4 interceptions in the first half was enough. I couldn't make it to the end. And so I just came home and buried my head in the sand and cried. But I managed to get 12,000, I think 12,000. How many steps did I get? Well, I got whatever is showing on the screen here. That's how many steps that I got today. And it was plenty. It made my goal. And that's what I did today. So that's the start of the week. I'm going to eat the rest of my steak. I got 2 more. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. So look forward to some more good steak pictures. Let's head over and see how Monday is. Okay, it is Monday, and I was off today because it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I took the holiday and I stayed home. So I slept in. I slept in past 5 o'clock. And again, I didn't even try to go outside and do my walk when it was still dark. I probably could have done it better today because it wasn't nearly as cold, but I just said, I've got all day at home, so I'll just do it later. So yeah, instead I did other things. I did weigh myself when I first got up, and I was up to 204.6, which is like a pound up from when I finished my fast on Sunday. So, it's kind of a bummer, but it's expected. You always go up a little bit after a fast generally. And so, that's just going to be the deal. It'll be an up and down, and hopefully each down will be a little further down each time. And that'll be what I'm shooting for. Today, since I was home, I had still 2 more steaks from, I ate that steak yesterday. I had 2 more of those steaks, and I thought, okay, I'm going to eat these today since I can cook them up. I don't have to microwave them, which I hate. Yucky. Microwaved steak is just lame. So I would prefer to eat them when I'm at home. So I thought I would do that. And I cooked up this steak here, which, let me tell you, I don't know if you can tell from that angle, but that was a thick steak. It was a big old steak, and it was super good. I ate that, which was wonderful. However, I was a little naughty today. I lost my way on final boss mode for the first time today a little bit. On Saturday, my wife had to work. And when she works on Saturday, she always goes by this place that's on her way home, and she gets herself a boudin ball, I believe it is. It's it's like homemade Cajun food kind of place. She always gets the boudin ball. And when she's there, she also always gets me their homemade pork rinds. And she didn't realize that I'm trying to not eat those. So she got them. She brought them home to me. She said, "Here you go, babe. I got these for you." And I was like, oh, great. What am I going to do with these? And I was fasting on Saturday, so I just set them aside. But on Sunday, they were there calling to me. Well, today I ate those pork rinds. I probably shouldn't have. I should not have, I'm sure. Pork rinds seem to always make me retain water, and that means gain weight. And yeah, I ate those, and worse, they also make me want to eat other stuff, and that's what I did later after having finished off my steak and stuff. I probably was fine. I didn't need to eat anything, but I, had that urge, and I was at home, so I could eat whatever. I would just get into the fridge and just eat it. And so I wound up getting ham out, and my daughter had made this. It's good. She made this mayo using tallow, so it was good for me mayo as far as mayo goes. But yeah, I was putting this mayo on the ham and eating it, and it was tasty, but I shouldn't have done it. It was out of final boss mode. And yeah, I'm afraid that I'm probably going to retain some water because of this. And I have to fight to not get frustrated by that. I'm sure I'm going to get on the scale tomorrow and go like, rassa, frassin, gold, dern, tar, feathers. I don't know. I'll be the rootinest, tootinest hombre east, north, and west of the Pecos. I'll be swearing like Yosemite Sam when I see that. And yeah, it's trouble. So hopefully the key will be to just keep from letting that discourage me. I'll probably have to, spend a week getting back down to where I was, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be okay. Anyways, I did also go on my walk today. I went out and hit the trails once it was nice and warm. And yeah, I was out there. I wore this long sleeve shirt. I didn't need to. I was a little too warm by the end of my my walk, but that's okay. I was fine, and I made it to 12,000 steps, which is, hitting right where I want to. So pretty good day all around. And yeah, we'll just see. Hopefully the little slip up with the eating is not going to cause me trouble. We'll see. But one way or another, I'm not quitting. This is final boss mode. I'm going to keep going. I'll be consistent, even if I wasn't consistent today. I will get back to consistency. Because that is the key, consistency. Let's do this. Howdy folks, it is Tuesday, and just as I suspected yesterday, I blew it. So I got up and weighed myself this morning, and the scale says I am 207.6, which is 3 pounds heavier than yesterday. A big jump, and basically completely eliminates all of last week's progress. But as we know, it's just water, so maybe it's not the end of the world. Maybe I can get back to where I was kind of quickly. We shall see, but it is frustrating, and it's the reason why I keep saying that consistency matters so much. If you're consistent, then you don't have these kind of problems. And I stopped being consistent, and I had it. So we got to get back to it, and that's what I did today. First thing I did today was I had a pound of ground beef, a pound of lovely cold ground beef. That was my first meal. Second meal, another pound of ground beef, lovely cold ground beef, and it was good. It was good stuff, and I felt great, and I started fasting from there. So I've been going for 8 hours or something like that. I don't know, maybe more. But yeah, I did a lot of walking when I was at work, and so I really didn't need to do that much when I got home, but I did go out and do a third of my usual walk, and in the end I wound up with 16,000 steps for the day. And yeah, and then tomorrow is a fast. We'll see if I can, it would be nice if just being good for one day got things back to where they should be, but if not, at least maybe the fast will get me there and I can be back on track by Thursday. That would be cool. Okay, it is Wednesday and it is a fasting day, so I didn't eat anything today. I did, however, get up and weigh myself, and I was good yesterday, and it paid off somewhat because I only weighed 205.2, which is down a couple of pounds from yesterday. That's a good start. Hopefully that can keep going during this fast, and maybe I can get down all the way back to where I was, maybe even a little bit more before I ate those pork rinds. One can only hope. I did a lot of walking at work, and then when I got home, I almost didn't want to go. I still had a couple thousand steps that I needed to get, and it was raining. And I thought, man, I don't want to do that, but I forced myself. I said, don't be a wuss. This is final boss mode. Get out there. I put on, a raincoat so that I could take it. And then it pretty much didn't rain. It only sprinkled a little bit right at the very end. So I walked my whole walk. I wound up with 18,000 steps for the day. So that's a pretty good total. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes tomorrow and what I weigh and whether I'm back at it, where I'm back in business. I'll talk to you in 1 second about that. It is Thursday, and, well, it worked out. I didn't totally blow it this week, despite screwing up after ratcheting down and, battening down the hatches and getting back to it. I managed to do okay. I weighed myself this morning, and I was 202.4. So this fast got me back under what I was before, so that's exciting. I don't know if I would have lost more weight otherwise, but I lost something, and that's exciting. So I finished up my fast at 40 hours and I want to say 47 minutes, something like that. And from there, I decided I would do something a little different. Instead of just eating a pound of ground beef, I ate 2 pounds of ground beef. I decided to do both of my meals at once. I was thinking maybe it would be cool if I tried a 1 meal a day kind of a thing. Because a lot of times when I eat that first pound of ground beef, I'm still hungry. And it takes a while before I forget that I'm hungry, I guess, or maybe just the hunger goes away. But I thought it would be interesting, and it worked pretty well. I never really kind of felt that today. I ate both pounds of ground beef, and the rest of the day went through, and I never really got that hunger bugging at me at all. So maybe it's the way to go. I don't know. We'll try it the regular way tomorrow and see how that is. And I don't know. Anyways, I did a lot of walking while I was at work. So I was almost at 10,000 steps already. And then I did my regular walk when I got home as well. So all in all, I wound up with 19,000 steps. And yeah, pretty good total. I'm happy with that. It's pretty good, especially for a Thursday. And yeah, we're just going to keep going. We've got a couple more days left in this week, and we're going to rock them. Okay, it is Friday, and things are going pretty good. I got up and weighed myself this morning, and I didn't really come up much after that fast the other day. So that's always a good sign. 202.6, I was 202.4, I think, yesterday, so basically staying even. When I got to work, I had myself my first meal, a pound of ground beef, and my second meal, another pound of ground beef. I did plenty of walking while I was at work, so I really didn't need to go walking when I got home, but I got a new pair of shoes, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to go out and walk in these a little because they're kind of stiff, and I wanted to, break them in a little bit. And that turned out to be a bad idea because while I was messing around with my camera trying to set up my shot so that I could get a shot of walking, I managed to step in some dog poop. And yeah, you can see in the video me like finding it on the bottom of my shoe and trying to wipe it onto the grass. I don't know. It took a lot to get that off, and I hadn't even had them for 24 hours yet, and they're already got smeared in dog poop. Great. But I did manage to get 12,000 steps altogether, which is plenty, well over the 10,000 goal that I've got. So doing pretty good. And yeah, now I'm fasting again. So fast all through Saturday, and we'll see what I come out with on Sunday morning. That'll be the big finale. Okay, it is Saturday, and it's a fast day, so not much going on with food-wise, but I did get up this morning and weigh myself, and I managed to stick right around 202. I'm slightly down from yesterday now, 202.2, which is, basically even since my last fast. So I finished out my last fast at 202, and I'm still at 202, and now I'm in a fast. I don't know what I'll get out of that, and we'll find out with the big finale tomorrow. But yeah, it's always a positive sign when I can keep even. This morning it was raining. I looked at my app and it said it was going to rain all day long. And so I just got in the car and I drove out to the gym and I walked on the treadmill for my steps. I managed to get 15,000 steps on the day, so that's pretty good. That's a nice total, and so I'm happy about that. But yeah, I'm worried that this may be the last day that I get over 10,000 because tomorrow it's going to rain all day, and it's going to be freezing cold. It's supposed to be like super, super cold. Everybody's worried about pipes bursting and stuff like that here. We're all having flashbacks from 2021, which, if you don't know, it was a really bad time in Texas. Everything froze, and there was a lot of problems, a lot of damage. And we're all worried about that. Hopefully the lessons we learned from then will make it so that it doesn't happen again. Unfortunately for me, I work in the news, so I got to get in my car and drive out there and be there for the Monday morning news. So I got to be out there right at the worst time. I'm thinking about possibly driving in the day tomorrow and then just staying the night at work. They do have cots that you can sleep in when there's stuff like this. And I may well do that. We'll have to see. But if I die sliding out on the roads, I guess you'll never see this because I won't be able to edit it and post it. But you would know that's why I didn't post it if only I did everyday videos instead of once a week. But whatever. Anyways, let's head in and see the big finale. How did things turn out on Sunday morning? All right, folks, there you go. That is week 3. We finished it out. I had a big hiccup there at the start of the week, but I managed to pull it together. And things mostly turned out fine. In fact, I can show you how they totally turned out now, because this morning I got up and I weighed myself for Sunday morning, the 1 week mark from last week. Last week I was at 203.4, at the end of the week. And this week, I finished out at 199. That's pretty good. It worked out pretty well. Maybe I should have a slip up in the middle of every week because I think I did better this week than I did last week. But yeah, that's 4.4 pounds, and I'm back in Wonderland. How about that? I don't know that that's going to stick for very long because, as I've said a dozen times in this video, yeah, usually after a fast, I go back up a little bit. So I'll probably go back up over 200, and then I'll have to work back down under it again. But that's going to be the goal for this week, is to get under 200 and to stay under 200. And I think I can do it. You know, like I say all the time in this show, the key is consistency. That's right. As long as you're consistent, then you can do wonders. You can move mountains. You can make things happen. Something with an M. That's what I was trying to say when I started out. But yeah, and it's worked out pretty well so far this week. And we'll see how we can do it next week. I'm going to, stick with the same plan. Hopefully everything will go okay. Today's going to be a weird day because I got to get in my car and head out to work and spend the night at work because I got to be at work early in the morning, but conditions to get to work is going to be decidedly dangerous. So work kindly provided cots for all of us to sleep at work if we want to, in case we don't want to risk our lives trying to drive to work. And I figure that's probably a good idea. It's not worth dying for. Hopefully driving during the day won't be a death sentence either. But yeah, I think the rest of the week should be good. It'll be interesting. And I'll just keep doing the same thing. Ground beef for most every meal, although here and there, I had a steak here and there. And fasting twice a week. That's working well, although I was almost convinced to do a fat fast this week. Kelly Hogan was talking about it on her show, and fat fasts are kind of nice because you're not as hungry during a fat fast. But I'm having real good success with a regular fast. We'll probably stick with it for now, at least. We'll see. If things get tough, maybe I'll switch to fat fasting. But for now, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing and just keep going with the consistency. That's the way. That's the ticket. All right, folks. I'll see you next time on Big Anklevich on Health.